Hi, I'm Wendy Van Beesen, and it is wonderful, and I'm thrilled to be here with you today. This is episode 4 of my podcast, and this is called Proof and Possibility. What happens if you begin to work with me? Before that, though, I wanted to recap the first 3 that we've been through together. The first is the State of the Union, why women are feeling disenfranchised, why we are going through transition, what happens when we wake up one morning and say, my life doesn't seem to be the way I wanted it to be, but I don't want to blow it up. We went through all those reasons. The second episode was really about my story, what allows me to share with you some of not only my wisdom, but know that all of the things that I teach and speak about is really based on neuroscience, scientific data, and everything that I do is not just woo-woo. It really is about knowledge. The third one was about the perceived barriers. Why don't women, if we wake up and say, life isn't exactly the way I wanted, or I have a cancer diagnosis, now I don't know what to do, or after 27 years of marriage, I am now getting divorced and I am really lost. Or even I am working overtime and it doesn't seem like anyone is listening to what I have to say. And finally, if we are a mom and we are just on that treadmill of taking the kids to school, going to work, or even not going to work, but just trying to make everything better, and we still aren't feeling well. Those are the perceived barriers, because sometimes we don't want to just change our lives out of not knowing the uncertainty of what the future is. But I'm going to paint today. Today is the landscape of the proof and possibility, where we get grounded and real. And how do I know this? I know this because I've worked with women like you. I've worked with women that have worked 60 hours a week at a corporate job, which she doesn't love and now wants to change. I've worked with moms who've woken up one day and said, this may not be exactly the life I want to live. I have no purpose. I've helped these women through my strategy of recognize, reclaim, reinvent, and then radiate. And so today, let's talk about the possibilities of what we do. Part 1, why this work is hard. It's hard because, why is it hard? You know why? It's hard because there's uncertainty, and what we want in our lives is certainty. And so the opportunity is to really understand the mindset and be comfortable that we don't know what the unknown is. We don't know what the future is, but how can we take steps to get us there? How do we stop overfunctioning and start listening to ourselves? Stop fixing and start feeling, and then stop managing and really start living. So I'm going to just read to you a little bit about some testimonials and women that I have actually worked with. So my story 1 is a leadership coach. She's kind of like me, a little younger, and she was building a thriving practice and supporting others. But she was realizing that her needs were not buried, and she was identifying with her clients' dreams, not her own. Her calendar was incredibly filled, but her body felt empty. And so she came to me. She was really in burnout. And what we did is we worked on her taking a pause, understanding that by taking a pause, she didn't need to feel guilty. She needed to step back before she could boomerang forward. And she says now, my clients still get the best of me, but now so do I. My second story is about a lawyer who turned to advocacy. She was in corporate law, worked there for years, had many awards, but her health cracked. Then her marriage, and then her sense of self. We needed to start at the very beginning, and I met her at the aftermath of all that. We started with her nervous system, understanding what was happening within her body and how to slow it down, so that she could actually think about what it is she wanted. She was on such a roller coaster, she never used her mind. And she said, now, my story used to feel like a cautionary tale, but now it's a bridge. Because instead of just doing corporate work, she's doing advocacy work. My third story is a high-achieving mom who is in her late 40s. 3 kids, full-time job, empty inside. She said, I don't know who I am anymore, and no one really needs anything from me, because her last child, one of 3, was in her senior year of high school. Her shift wasn't dramatic. She started naming what she wanted and started communicating to her family what that was. And so we took step by step. She wanted to get back into the workplace. And so what she ended up doing was doing a volunteer job just so that she could feel what it was like to get out of the house. And then we started with some breath work, wanted to slow her nervous system down. She began taking care of herself, doing yoga, doing meditation. And that was when, thereafter, she ended up getting a full-time job. And what she said, her quote, I used to shape-shift in every room I entered. Now I ask only one question. What is true for me right now? And the final one, the final person I'd like to share with you was a woman who came to me after being diagnosed with breast cancer. She was absolutely devastated. She had 2 young children, wasn't quite sure what was going to happen. And so we had to acknowledge, we don't know what's going to happen. But what I was able to do with her is to step back, have her reevaluate what was going on in her life, with her husband, with her children. And then step by step, we were able to acknowledge the grief, the anger, the rage, what people were doing, what people weren't doing, her reconnection with herself. Because many times, at least with people that I've coached, people think they'll be diagnosed, that they'll go through a divorce, they're a working mom, and they say, I want to go back to the way I was. I have to tell you, there's not going back. There's only evolution, and we do that together. And what I might say, and finally, is that these aren't overnight transformations. It's not like we have a quick fix and then we're done. It takes time, it takes effort, and guess what? We don't always move forward, right? It's not always linear. We take 2 steps forward, we go back. We go off the path, we get back on. And guess what? That's all a part of this. And that's why you work with me, because I am with you 100% of the time. So the truth that you already know, the truth is something isn't exactly working for you right now. And that's okay. For many of us, things aren't exactly working. You're not crazy. You're not broken. You're just waking up. Isn't it wonderful to be waking up? And so here's the reflection. The truth is, it's not dangerous. It's knowledge. It's power. It's a doorway. Let it open. Come work with me. Come hang in our community, because together we're going to help each other rise. Thank you for being here.